Hey guys, Peter here to do an album review. Today I'm here to tell you all about the latest album from me and that man. New man, new songs, same shit, Volume 1. Out March 27th on Napalm Records. The album has 11 tracks, 40 minutes in length, and this is the band's second full-length studio album. This album met all my expectations. Based on the singles that they released, I had a certain level of certainty of what the sound, of what the feel, of what the lyrics, of what the atmosphere of this album was going to be all about. And I wasn't disappointed in one bit. To me, the singles really painted the picture, and this album frames it. That's the overall feel that I get from the record going into it based on those singles. I really like the mixture that this album offers as far as the sound is concerned. It's a little bit of blues, a little bit of country, you add a little bit of darkness into the mix, and you have a really good collection of sounds, of ideas to pull from to create songs that are very dynamic, but at the same time really have a lot of soul in them. And this to me is a record that overall has a lot of soul built into it. It's built into the music, it's built into the riffs, into the melodies, into the solos, into the lyrics, and also into the vocal performances of every single song. I was a little bit concerned going into the album. My expectations were there, but I was a little bit concerned with the diversity of artists involved with this album. Anytime you have a record that has these many people involved and these many tracks, there's always a feel that the record could start to become a little bit broken. It could start to feel uncohesive, if you will, on a track-by-track basis. That's not the case with this record. I really like what they did here. They were able to keep the album very concise from the first to the last track. There's a feel of continuity. The sound is very cohesive all the way through. It follows a path, it follows a pattern that stays true throughout every single song. And regardless of all the different artists that are used throughout the songs, throughout the record, they never created songs that became their individual songs. No, at the end of the day, this is still a Me and That Man record. It still has the DNA of the band. It still has their sound, their fingerprint, if you will. Those artists actually came in, and the songs were not blend into them. They blended themselves into the tracks. They added a little bit of fragrance into the tracks. They added a little bit of what they bring to the table, of their own personalities, their own style, their own approach to music, and they incorporated that into the tracks. So I was extremely happy to see that an album that has this kind of a cast, that has so many people involved on every single track, still sounds like one solid record. It does not sound like a collection of 11 songs. And to me, that is done by keeping the sound very concise, very together all the way through, having a perfect idea of what you want to deliver, of what you want to create, of how you want the tracks and the overall album to sound, and then pick the right people for the right songs that are going to elevate those tracks, that are going to give something different, that are going to give a different feel, that are going to give their own taste and their own twist, if you will, to those songs without completely changing the DNA, without completely changing the vibe, the atmosphere that the record has to offer. Very interesting approach, very difficult to achieve. It's not an easy thing to do because you're really dealing with a lot of moving parts. You're really dealing with a lot of people, a lot of moving parts, a lot of things that could go wrong in the creation of the record, in the creation of the individual tracks. They did a magnificent job. Nurgle really knew what he wanted from the record. He knew how he wanted the songs to sound. He knew exactly how he wanted the album to sound overall. And then he just pinpoint picked the right people for the right tracks that would enhance the delivery of the song, that would enhance the sound, that would enhance the lyrics, that would bring the lyrics to life, and most importantly, would not change the dynamic that the band has. It would not change the dynamics of the songs, will only enhance the beauty and the vibe and the overall sound that the songs have to offer. This album, in my opinion, has soul, like I said before, on all elements, across all parameters, and that to me is a magnificent component and a very important component of this record, because without that soul in the sound and the lyrics and the delivery, this album falls absolutely flat. So you have to have that, and to me, Nurgle was able to create a record that has it, and then he was able to think about who he wanted, execute it, and deliver a record that not only has soul, it just really comes to life at every single turn with every single song. I absolutely fall in love with this record. I love every single song on this album. It has so much beauty, so much darkness at the same time. great melodies, great arrangements, the ability to really congregate different styles together in order to really deliver a very solid record from the first to the last track. Well done. What an incredible record. I personally really like it. I really love it, and I'm not gonna lie, having those different artists really added a different spice to the album. It really brought something different to the table while still keeping it all together as one. As far as songs are concerned, I want to start off with Deep Down South, a song that has a very deep Western vibe. It almost feels like a Western saloon song. It features Johanna Sadonis from Lucifer and Nick Anderson from Entombed. So it features these two musicians on this track. It's a great track. Like I said, it has a little bit of a saloon vibe. I really like that Western saloon vibe to it. And it has a great dynamic. It's a duet. It's a magnificent saloon duet, if you will. Really well put together, really well arranged. I mean, Johanna's voice, she's just incredible. She has an incredible voice. And the way she delivers the lyrics and the way she delivers her performance on this track really has a southern vibe to it and really enhances the song. You can almost close your eyes and you can feel like you're in a saloon and you're listening to this song being played in a saloon. It has all the condiments of a Western saloon track. I really like the harmonica solo melody that they included in this track. It really did something unique to the song. It took a little bit of what the song had as far as the melody of the guitar riff, and then it took it into that different instrument and delivered in a different format. So you're getting the same melody but just delivered in a different with a different instrument. It just changes. It doesn't change the song completely, but it gives the song a different look, a different feel. I really like that. The guitar solo later in the track does the same thing. It pulls off of that main melody, out of that main riff, changes it ever so slightly, adds a little bit more darkness to it, and then it brings it back into the song. So they included these two elements that just pulled from something that was already there. It just repackaged and then re-delivered enough to really change the dynamic of the track, enough to give a lot more life, a lot more push forward to the song. And then as the solo finishes, it goes back into that dark saloon style track that I really love. One of my favorite songs on the album. Next we have You'll Be Mine. This one features Heafy from Trivium. What a great track. Almost sounds like a song straight out of Elvis. It has a very Elvis vibe to this track. Not only from a sound perspective, but even from a vocal perspective. The vocal delivery on this song is really reminiscent of Elvis. I just got that feeling. It's a very stripped down track. It's really almost bare bones track. It has a very cool underlying darkness to it, with some melodic overtones that really work very well with the vocal delivery of the song. And then they use some backing vocals to just give some texture to the track in order to just give some bigger sound, make the song a little bit more robust at times. And in my opinion, that really adds something, because overall it's very stripped down. It has a very stripped down effect, and you really need something to give the song a little bit more volume, a little bit more presence, and the backing vocals, in my opinion, really did that to the song. There is an harmonica solo in this track that's absolutely magnificent, but the thing that is magnificent about it is how the vocals then come on top of that solo, and then they dissipate back, and then they come back again on top of that solo as the song approaches the closing end. And I really like that dynamic. It's not like they just put an harmonic solo in there, which would have been magnificent regardless, but the way they constructed the song, the way they decided to close off the track with that harmonica solo really extending all the way down to the end of the song, and then having the vocals coming in on top of it and going out and then coming back in again, creates such an incredible dynamic to the track, and it adds to that underlying darkness that I mentioned earlier. This is a song, like I said, while being very stripped down, very Elvis-like as far as the vocal delivery and even the sound is concerned. That underlying darkness is there from the beginning all the way to the end, and it becomes a lot more noticeable once that harmonica comes in and you have the vocals coming over the top. Last but not least, How Come, a song that features Corey Taylor, Brent, and Caggiano. What a track. What a track. This is a rock song that is vocally driven all the way from the beginning all the way to the end. Perhaps of all the songs on the album, this is the one where I feel the guitar playing is perhaps at its best. I really like the sound, the riff, the melody that the song has. It's not overly done. It's very subdued, but it has a little bit of a bite to it. It has a little bit of a darkness to it. I like that aspect of it. The vocals have such a strong connection to the song. They're really sitting behind the driver's seat and really controlling the dynamics of the song, dictating where this track goes. So I really like that combination of almost underlying guitar, really raw guitar melody that lets the vocals be the main driving force, lets the vocals take the front stage while they're in the background, just creating a sense of comfort, a sense of darkness and comfort at the same time, really allowing the vocals to shine, but giving the vocals a sense of place where they can be, where they can shine. And then you have two incredible guitar solos. The first solo is a little bit short, really powerful, really dynamic. It really changes the dynamic of the song, because this is a song that is not fast moving. It's slow. It has a very slow tempo to it. The solo comes in very melodic, very over the top. The first one, very melodic, very over the top, but very short. It doesn't have this. It's almost like a burst of light coming into a very dark room. It has that sort of feel to it. But then later on the track, they have a second solo that to me is just the first solo turned all the way to 11. Because they basically grabbed what they did in the first solo and they just extended. They just pushed it and they extended all the way in order for the song to close on a very powerful tone with a very powerful sound. So I really like the fact that they give you a little bit of a glimpse of that first solo, of what they can do and how dynamic it can be and how much light and melody can shine into the track. And then they grab it, turn it to 11, make the second solo a little bit bigger, a lot bigger, not a little bit bigger, a lot bigger than the first one, but still grabbing off of the first one and extending upon it and making it a lot bigger, really giving the song a much more robust sound that up until that point was very subdued and just being driven by the vocals alone. Alright guys, this is it. This is Me and That Man. New men, new songs, same shit. Volume 1, once again, out March 27th. Let me know your thoughts on the singles, on the band. Use the comment section below. I'll be reading those and getting back to you. Take care, guys.